Hello everybody, today is October 19th, it's a Tuesday, and welcome to Enjoy the Games, where I now put in my 2 cents about games. So, sorry I've been away for a little while, but I figured it's almost Halloween time, and it's about time to do another video. You want to know why? Because my department at work has decided that we're going to do classic video games as our department theme this year, so I'm not going to give away what I'm going to be, but I'm starting to work on the costume now, and hopefully it turns out not disappointing. So, anywho, next thing, you might notice that the video quality is a little bit different because I'm on a brand new camera. My old one, I pretty much dropped and it died. So here's the old one. If you actually look really close, you can tell exactly how I dropped it. It's a little bit crooked right there. But other than that, that's pretty much what happened. So I need to get a new one. So you are watching me on a brand new camera right now. Alright, okay, so what I'd like to do now is actually tell you about the games that we're going to review today, and we are going to review 3 games, mostly because I think this is going to be one of the big games that my department's doing at work, so I decided, hey, why not a better time to do it? So, we are going to be discussing the original, these are all for Nintendo. There are other versions of it, perhaps, but the ones we're going to be talking about are the ones explicitly just on the Nintendo. So the games we're going to be talking about today are Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., aka Donkey Kong 2, whatever you want to call it, and Donkey Kong 3. Now, one of these is really good, one of these is pretty decent, and the other one is utterly bad. Now, for those of you who have heard of these games before, I'm sure you can guess which one's probably the really bad one. But, if you can't tell, well, I'm going to tell you. So, let's just jump right into the games, and let's talk about Donkey Kong. Alright, so, this game, as you can see, title screen, Donkey Kong, pretty straightforward. On a lot of the old Nintendo games, they had 4 modes, 2 for 1 player and 2 for 2 player, and you had a choice between A and B, and the big difference is that A is easier, B is harder, and the difference between 1 player and 2 player is that somebody else can play with you. Now, these games are done in the old school Nintendo way where you can't really play with somebody else. The only thing is that you get to alternate taking turns beating levels and stuff like that. So, that's how two-player works. Now, okay, so, let's jump right into the game. There's several different stages, and the first stage, as you can see, is pretty much a bunch of tilted girders and ladders, and Donkey Kong is in the upper left-hand corner, and he is throwing down barrels at you. And your job is to run up and save your girlfriend. I don't know if it's Princess, but has, you know, quite a resemblance to Princess. Maybe it doesn't. But anyway, okay, so I take it back. Now, this is the second level. As you can see, the bad guys that you have here are, you know, big flames, little bouncy, springy thing. The first stage was barrels and flame things, and Donkey Kong, of course. If you look at your character, you are the guy that kind of looks like Mario at the bottom. Now, if you didn't know, way back in the day, Mario hadn't been discovered yet, so he hadn't had a name. And this, I believe he's actually called Jumpman in, you know, the first few times that you see him. But if you know what retcon is, I think they, you know, retroactive continuity or something. I think what they ended up doing was calling that Mario and pretty much attributing Donkey Kong to the first appearance of Mario. So, this game first came out in arcade, developed by Nintendo. Now, if you're pretty good, you can, you know, jump on all the platforms and such. If you are not as good, you might fall. Now, for those of you who don't know, you can actually fall in really, really terrible ways in this game because the detection for fall damage is very, it's very tight, and I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's like the height of Jumpman. So the platform is taller than the height of Jumpman that you're trying to get to. It's so stupid that you'll just die. It's so bad, and you can't even tell. So you'll make the mistake a few times, and you know these games aren't, you know, super hard, but they're not super easy either. So despite how it looks and the simple controls, you can move up, down, left, right. You know, so ladders will let you climb up. You can move left and right. A will let you jump, B, I don't think maps to anything, so it doesn't really do anything. And let's see, what else? There's a bunch of special items. You can get the hammers, which, if you guys are familiar with Super Smash Brothers, if you know what, the big hammer, I think it actually comes from this game. So if you listen to the music, the music's very similar. If you didn't know, FYI. Okay, so now we're on the third stage, and if you didn't see what you have to do, it's a little bit different than the other stages. So you can run across or jump over these little pegs that actually, not really pegs, but connectors to disconnect the girder, and then eventually once you get them all, Donkey Kong falls and he just stumbles all over himself. So that's pretty much that. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the original Donkey Kong, I'm not sure exactly how it was, but I think it's 2 stages, 2 different stages. This one has 3, so it's more akin to the, the Atari 7800 version, not the Atari 2600 version. So, anyway, that's what this game pretty much plays like. And once you lose all your lives, you die, and there's a bonus meter, which is actually your time meter. So if you run out of bonus, you're dead, and you have to go over. Now, you might see game B, and that's a little bit harder. It's not quite as predictable. Let's see, what else? Oh, in the first stage, if you happen to jump into the barrel immediately, you die. I don't understand, because A, that barrel lights on fire after the first barrel hits it, but it's not on fire before that, so what the hell is killing you? That makes no sense whatsoever. Now, the stupid barrels. These barrels are, like, ridiculous. They will travel down ladders, highly unpredictable. You don't know when they're coming for you, and the times when you're utterly screwed is when there's 2 directly next to each other, and there's no gap to jump in between, or you can't jump far enough to jump over both of them. So that part sucks. Other than that, the game's pretty simple, and for those of you who have played any of the versions before, this is like one of those big milestone games that totally changed, popularity for platforming, action adventure. I don't even know. I mean, it's basically just platforming.